Resentment long held eats away at the body and becomes the dis-ease we call cancer. I have found that forgiving and releasing resentment will dissolve even cancer. Now this may sound simplistic, however I have seen and experienced it working.
Louise Hay was in her 40s when she discovered she had an incurable cancer. She had at that time been teaching others how to overcome illness and saw this as a chance to demonstrate the truth of all she had learned and shared.
I knew I had a lot of work to do. Now I was being given a chance to prove to myself that what I had been teaching others did indeed work. If I had an operation to get rid of the cancer and did not clear the mental pattern that created it, then the doctors would just keep cutting Louise until there was no more Louise to cut. If I had the operation and cleared the mental pattern that was causing the cancer, then it would not return.
Louise knew that she had to do 3 things immediately. 1. She had to identify and resolve the metaphysical cause of her cancer. She knew she was holding on to resentment, anger and judgment towards those who had abused her in her past. Believing these feelings to be the cause of her illness, she had to let them all go, and this required forgiveness.
We may not know how to forgive, and we may not want to forgive, but the very fact that we say we are willing to forgive begins the healing process. Love is always the answer to healing, and the road to love is through forgiveness. It is imperative for our own healing that we release the past and forgive everyone.
But finding forgiveness in her heart was not so straightforward. To really forgive, Louise needed to understand why she had been abused, and she soon discovered the reason.
I think that the work I did at the time that was the most important for me was to do forgiveness. And I began to investigate the childhoods of my parents. And when I discovered their stories, I could understand where they were coming from. There was just horrendous things on both sides, all sides. So how could they know how to treat a little child when they weren't treated that well themselves?
The Course in Miracles says that all disease comes from a state of unforgiveness, and that whenever we are ill, we need to look around to see who it is that we need to forgive. I would add to that the very person you find it hardest to forgive is the one you need to let go of the most.
While cleansing her mind of resentment and anger, she also cleansed her body of all the processed chemicals she had been punishing herself with for years. This involved a diet high in greens, low in sugar and processed additives.
And I did things I hadn't done before. I went from being a junk food person to doing nutritional work and detoxifying my body, and I was detoxifying my mind, and I did a lot of things. So as I began to do the forgiveness work and the therapy and the nutrition and everything, within 6 months, I was able to get the medical establishment to agree with what I already knew inside, that I no longer had cancer. And when that happened, I knew that anything could be healed.
In her years as a healing therapist, Louise came to recognize that many illnesses people suffered stemmed from a feeling of worthlessness, the beliefs that they were bad, unlovable, undeserving people. Now, such ideas can come to influence one's mental outlook, physical health, life experiences and relationships. So transformation must happen here in order for a healthy life, mind and body to emerge. And this applied to Louise. So the third thing she did was to embark on a journey of deep love and acceptance of herself at every level of her being. Here's how.
I discovered, much to my amazement, that if I would help people learn to love themselves, to really accept themselves as they are, we didn't have to work around problems, because it was almost like a miracle. Everything seemed to fall away. All the stuff that was in the way and all the stuff that wasn't working. When you talk about loving yourself, a lot of people think that that's vanity. But it isn't really. It has nothing to do with that. If you look in the mirror, just simple things like looking in the mirror in your own eyes and say, I love you. I really, really love you. And it helps if you use your name, Louise, I love you. I really love you. It gets to that little child inside that has been rejected for so long. And it breaks open sort of a dam or a door or whatever you want to call it. And it's like little miracles start to happen. Lots of little good things happen.
Based on her own experiences, Louise created a deep healing meditation to assist others in overcoming their illnesses. This can be accessed here. All likes help the channel grow and are greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching.